welcome back to Hot Rod Guy Garage. I may be somewhere south, so follow along with me through the intro and I'll be back. So it's like 4 days to No Name Nationals at this point. I am sitting in the parking lot in McDonough, Georgia at Summit Racing, picking up some parts because we got some bad problems with 70 Torino, and I hope I can fix it. So, the reason why I come to Summit, I need some valve springs. Give you 2 guesses why. Yeah. So, let me get back home, and then I'll be back. Did I mention it's raining? I'm driving my 71 Torino, and we got Atlanta traffic, so yeah. So I'm back home. So I got some valve springs, I got some paint for 65 Mustang been working on, and yeah, we had some problems. So I've been fighting a mess that I couldn't figure out on this motor. Now, assuming that when the machine work was done on this motor, we assumed that it had the correct valve springs and the heads had been worked and stuff for the solid roller camshaft that was in this motor. Assumptions make of you and me. So that's what it done. Made me the fool here. I chased issues, dropped tons of money, swapped a bunch of parts, changed ignition modules, plug wire, spark plugs, went back through everything, could not figure out why this motor had this random weird mess. And it was specifically at 5,800 RPM. It would pull past it. It just had this little, I would say more of a skip than a miss. It progressively got worse. To the point where I was out here last night in the driveway trying to chase it down, and it finally went pop. So what went pop? The valve spring on the exhaust valve on cylinder 1. So let me flip it around and I'll show it to you. So what we have here is the exhaust valve spring from cylinder 1. As you can see, it is now 2-piece. Looking at these springs, these are a single spring with a dampener. It does have a solid roller camshaft in it. So that is one of our problems. I knew the valve springs would probably be weak, but I didn't expect them to break because I did check them for coil bind. And there's more than plenty of room, even though that spring looks smushed right there, that there was more than plenty of room for coil bind. So it broke the valve spring. I'm pretty sure that was 100% what my miss was. I'd say all these springs are weak. It's causing an issue. As you can see, we got some MSD plug wires on here now, and we got a different coil hanging out up here with the other coil there. And I've been chasing this problem. So I got a set of old 429 heads here, and these are comp springs that I put in there for a flat tappet camshaft. Once again, these are new, and ironically, they look just like the springs in the Cleveland, like identical springs. So that's not the big problem. I thought about using these, but I knew it wouldn't be right. So I knew it wouldn't be right that way. Well, there's no way to make this setup right without pulling the heads off, sending them to the machine shop, and getting some machine work done to them. So I had to make a compromise. I found a valve spring that should work. I'm fixing to mock them up and see. Found a Howard spring that they advertise for mechanical roller camshaft. It is a dual spring without a dampener. It's supposed to be good to 700 lift. So, because the heads weren't properly machined for the correct spring, our spring pockets are a little taller than they should be. And there's a step right below the valve seal locator ring that's also an issue. So I've done some math. I think these valve springs have got to work. We're just going to have to see, try them, and cross our fingers and pray and, do the dance or whatever we have to do to make these work. So at this point, I'm going to try to get them in there and see what happens. Did I mention I hate changing valve springs? There's a bunch of different ways you can do it. I know the video's blurry. I got oil on the camera, but use a bent screwdriver like this. Go in there. There's a spark plug hole, and you hold the valve up with the piston at top dead center, obviously. Generally works pretty well. I've tried the rope trick on this, tried the wire trick. It just ain't happening. So this is like Groundhog Day times 50. Literally, I've wanted to give up for about a week now. But that's not what I do. I never give up, and probably one of my downfalls. Sometimes I probably should. But working on tearing the driver's side down now. Gotta get the plugs out of it, valve cover off of it. And then we can start pulling these springs. Well, it's Sunday morning. It's officially 4 days till I gotta leave. Counting today. So last night I had dropped a valve keeper and couldn't find it. Looked for it for 2 hours. Ended up running the bore scope down the backside of the steering box and finally found it. Fished it out. That was after I laid in the floor, jacked the car up, felt up under everything, looked down the cylinders. Whoever done these heads done nobody absolutely any favors when they built them. I'm sure it's probably an old build, considering this thing's got an antique crane solid roller camshaft in it. When they put stainless valves in, they used a factory style valve locks, which is a 4-groove valve lock, which is also not ideal for a solid roller camshaft. I would like to see something like a 10-degree, hopefully a super type lock. But instead, we got a 4-groove, 7-degree stock style lock. They're impossible to find anymore, except for Summit. Summit had them, and I'm not driving their, half-day round trip to buy a set of valve locks. So I got the one valve spring back on there. I've still got 2 change. I stayed down here super late last night. So I'm going to get started, try to get these last 2 changed, see if I can get these valves lashed, and see if this thing will even run again. So I got them all changed except for our last 2 right there. That'd be cylinder 8 on the Ford. And they're also going to be the most fun ones because of the master cylinder. Throttle cable, ignition module, and everything back there. And I'm going to have to work around to try to get these things compressed. Normal valve spring compressor won't work on these new springs. They won't compress them enough for those valve locks. I've been using this old bar and had to end up putting a pair of vice grips on them so I could actually pull that tension of that solid roller spring. So let me get them 2 on there. Let's see what we can get into today. So needless to say, the stress level is kind of high. Running low on time. I got a car that I don't really trust to even drive across town that I'm fixing to literally take off for a 6.5-hour ride. So let's get these other two springs changed to see if we can get this thing back running. Well, got all the rocker arms on. Now I need to set the lash on them, so let me get to that, and then I'll be back. So I'm just not in no hurry today. I'm just going to take my time, make sure everything's right. So, like I said, got all them valve springs on there, got the rocker arms put back on there, and that's run down. I still got to lash in valves, so I'm going to run through them, get the valve cover back on it, get the plugs back in it, and hopefully this thing will run again. Well, we're back running again. Sounds alright. Don't sound like it's hurt, so just going to run with it and see what happens. So, I need to get this thing out. There's a couple of small things I got to finish tidying up. I'm having an issue with the lower radiator hose sucking together. So, I'm going to have to find some kind of spring to put inside that. I'm probably going to have to get a flex hose, take the spring out of it, put it in this lower hose. Real common thing, especially with aftermarket hoses. I've seen them do it a bunch. But there is a snowball's chance that this may fix all my problems and we might actually make it. Well, the other things I need to do, I need to clean the car up a little bit. So that's what I've done. I backed out of the garage here. While fixing that lower radiator hose issue, I went ahead and flushed out the cooling system with some fresh water. I got to run to the parts store and get something anti-corrosive put in it. But get the car cleaned up, get all the handprints and oily spots all off of it, and ran a vacuum through the inside of it. So looks a lot better in there too. So I guess I need to hop in the reliable car over there and run to the parts store and get some stuff. So I guess I'll be back in a minute. Seconds for y'all, a few minutes for me. We're in the parts store, get some water wetter and put in the radiator at the 70. Then we'll go take it for a ride and see if it's fixed. just got back. And I can give you 2 guesses. It's broke again. Don't have nothing to say, really. Went out, tried to make some passes. And the mist that I'd been fighting was still there. Pulled over on the side of the road, and it was clattering again. So I drove it back home. Noticed the oil pressure was pretty low. Didn't really think much of it. Maybe the oil was just hot. And it does have a standard volume oil pump in it. It's, you know, for a Ford motor, a stock bottom end Ford motor. 25-30 pounds of idle is pretty decent, especially without high volume oil pump or high pressure oil pump. Well, I pulled it back in the garage and put the fan on it for a few minutes, and this is the point we're at. We're literally 4 days away from No Name Nationals. 3 days if you count when y'all will see this video. And yeah, it's broke. I'll flip around and show you, but I've literally dumped every single dime I've had in this car. It's not feasible. So as you can see, I got the rockers off of it. Everything kind of looks alright until you get back here, and you can see laying back here is a piece of one of these brand new comp rocker arms and all its little needle bearings. Okay, they don't bother me so much, I don't guess, other than I know the needle bearings went all in the motor. If you look where the oil's run over that valve cover gasket a little bit where I pulled it off hot, you can see it's glittery. It's not cool. And shine the light. Everything kind of looks okay otherwise than that. So you get over here and once again, we're on the passenger side now. There's something missing from that rocker arm right there. And it is laying right there without all its needle bearings. They are back here. I don't know if you can see them laying in there or not, but they're back there going down that oil return hole. So what do you do at this point? Motor needs to come out. If for anything other than getting the needle bearings out of it. You know, surely I could throw a set of rockers on it and flush the oil out and hope for the best, and it could probably be okay. But as small as those needle bearings are, they can definitely go past the oil pump pickup into the oil pump, which means they go into your main rod bearings, which means you're screwed. This is me giving up. I don't know what to do. I know one thing, I have put every bit of effort, every dime I've had saved up, and then some, about tenfold. I've been down here at almost 11 o'clock every night working on this car every free moment I've had to try to make it. And really, I just wanted to share something that was special with me with my friends. It wasn't about going and racing, it was about driving this car to the race. So, unless some kind of miracle happens, it's not going to make it. I should have just fixed my motor and put it back in there, because at least I known it would have made it. So guys, that said, this is about where I'm going to leave this video off. I've got to make a decision. I've got to find something else to take, and everything I got needs some kind of fixing. Some more than others. Some will pass tech, some won't. So I gotta figure out a plan. So that's where I'm gonna leave this video off. If you haven't yet, please hit that like button on this video and comment down below. If you're not subscribed and you're watching this, hit that subscribe button, because it does help the channel to grow and keeps me motivated to mess with this stuff, which at this point I really don't feel like there's much sense in messing with it, but I'd appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button. If you are a subscriber, I greatly appreciate you guys. Look for another video Wednesday. Hopefully I come up with a plan and we can go from there. So till next video, guys, thanks for watching.